it's just me and the cameras and those wonderful people out there in the dark. All right, Mr. DeVille, ready for my close-up. Let us know where you've seen it in the comments down below, but for now, let's get on with the show. Hi guys, welcome to Ask the Camera Guy. My name is Steven the Camera Guy, and today we're going to be answering one fan question, which is, how do I get the most out of a photo shoot if I'm a model? Okay guys, these are some tips that will work for models to help them get the best out of photo shoots. Okay, so the first thing I think any model should do whenever they're contacted by a photographer, or if they contact a photographer, is understand what the deal is. Now most of the times we as photographers, we reach out to models and ask them to help us with certain concepts or test shoots or whatever the case is. Or even if we are hiring you to promote a brand or a client or work on behalf of a customer, what you need to do first is understand what the deal is. Is this a paid shoot? Is this a shoot where I will get pictures? Is this a shoot for fun? Understand what the deal is first, and then you can move on to the next thing. Once you understand what the deal is, what the compensation is, or what it is that we're trying to accomplish, then you have to understand what the purpose of the shoot is. You understand the purpose, you understand what the look is, if there's a specific color palette, location, time frame. All of these are questions that you need to ask as a model to understand what your investment has to be for this project. So the next thing you need to do to get the most out of the photo shoot is to understand who is taking the pictures for this photo shoot. If it is that a client contacted you, then it would be good if you could ask who is the photographer that's taking these pictures for you, so that you could do some research into that photographer's style. Now, every single photographer has a slightly different style. Some of us are more conventional, some of us are very, very artsy and very, very outside of the box. Once you could understand what kind of photographer you're dealing with, it could really clear up a lot of the misconceptions you have, and you could also work better along with that person. Because if they have a pre-established style, then you could lean in, you could anticipate some of their directions, you could do a lot of things, and it could make the whole photo shoot go a lot smoother. The third thing that you guys need to do is to be professional. And I know, like, when I say this, a lot of people use it as a blanket term. It's not a blanket term. Being professional is very, very important. The worst thing for you to do is to show up late at a photo shoot. Well, at least for this photographer. Lateness is a sign of being tacky. No matter how late you are, no matter how late you are or how talented you are, being late is always going to be work against you. Nobody wants to work with somebody who comes late all the time. I'm gonna give you guys a tip into understanding what it is to be on time and what it is to be early. Now, being on time is not being early. If a shoot is supposed to start at 5 and you come at 5, you are late. Because by the time you settle down and get into it, it's already 20 minutes, 15 minutes in, we're starting late. So if you wanna get to a photo shoot, understand that you need to be there at least 15 minutes before, ready to shoot 15 minutes before. So if you're gonna come with your makeup on, 15 minutes before is fine. If you're not gonna come with your makeup on, come with enough time to do your makeup and still have 15 minutes to settle down and start on time. Now, part of being professional as well is making sure that you eat properly before you come on a shoot. The last thing that you wanna do is be working 3-4 hours and you haven't eaten anything before. It could be very miserable for you, and being miserable is miserable for the photographer and the whole crew. All right? Now, there's a bunch of other things that you need to do and understand. Before you come to a photo shoot, please practice your looks in the mirror. If you're a professional model, understand what you want to do in front of the mirror before you come to the photo shoot. It'll make things go a lot smoother. At least you would have something to add when it comes to the creative process. Don't come empty-handed. Also, what you want to do is make sure that you know your angles before you reach on set, okay? It's interesting that some models don't know which angle or which side of their face is more flattering to them, and therefore, some pictures turn out looking a little off. Now, there is a side of your face, if you have to default, it's usually the left side, usually. All right, usually the left side. If you don't know a side of your face, if you don't see a difference, go with your left. It's scientifically proven. Science. Science. Look it up on Google. While you're on a shoot, you want to do two things. You want to, one, stay off your phone as much as you can, I know most of us are addicted to our phones, but please stay off your phone. It looks very unprofessional when things are going on and you're not aware because you're deep down in your phone. Put your phone away if you can. The next thing is try to talk the minimal amount. Do the minimal amount of talking that you possibly can. Do the minimal amount of talking that you can do. And when I say that is, in some professional environments, if you're blabbing, it distracts away from the creative process sometimes. So unless you realize it's a jovial setting, some photographers like me, I like a lot of energy and I like a lot of talking. So on set with me, you might be able to do a lot of talking and I'm fine, all right? But some photographers, it distracts, all right? I could imagine that we are trying to take pictures and you're deep in conversation about your ex-husband or, you know, two guys that you dated in recent past, and then it ends up going off into 45 minutes of no shooting but talking. All right, guys, the next thing is that your appearance is your brand, okay? So be very, very, very attentive to the way that you look. Be very attentive to the way that you are on set. And when I say that, don't be caught with just one wardrobe. Walk with multiple sets of clothing. If you could walk with one or two extra pieces, that works really well. Walk with extra pair of heels. Sometimes heels break. That's just how life is. Always walk with extra stuff and be very, very particular about the way that you look. Also, the reason you are on set is to sell something. Understand exactly what you are selling. If you are selling yourself, if you're selling art, if you're selling a specific outfit, if you're selling a specific vibe, understand what you are selling. It's important because everything that you do is supposed to complement what you are selling. If you're selling yourself, then of course you have to be there with all your beauty and your glory. Whenever it comes to makeup, always, if you're gonna be a model, wear something, put on something. You don't wanna leave it up to a photographer to make you look your best, even though it's in our hands when it comes to the pictures. Make sure that your face looks good. And when I say looks good, don't overdo it. Unless it is that the shoot calls for it, you don't really want to have too much glamour makeup unless that's what the photographer is going for. Guys, you want to take direction from the photographer as much as you can. If you're unsure about anything, ask the photographer what you should do. One thing that I like is when models ask me where the light is, okay? Now, normally, I'm going to show you guys something really, really quick. Normally, whenever you have lights on set, you're supposed to pose to the key light. There's something called the key light or the main light. So you could ask a photographer, where am I posing to? And he'll usually tell you pose to the main light. So you want to try to like pose toward the main light as much as you can. Ask the photographer where the main light is and pose to it. And when I say pose to it, what I simply mean is take your body, turn your body to the light, and then you could pose anywhere you want. You turn to the camera, you can turn away from the camera, turn up against the camera, whatever. The other tip that I have for you when it comes to posing is bend it. If women, especially this goes out to, it's more for women than men, but whenever a woman poses, the more she can bend or the more appendages she can bend, the more womanly or more feminine she looks. And the last thing I have to tell you guys is build your portfolio. Doing free shoots or experimenting with different photographers give you a lot more experience and it creates a better portfolio for you. A more dynamic portfolio is always welcome. People want to see how you look. You want to see how you look in different situations with different techniques, okay? So it's fun if you could go out there, have fun, shoot, because again, modeling is only two things. There's only patience and practice. So you want to have a lot of patience, you want to do a lot of practice. If you are not patient, you're not going to get very far, but if you also don't practice, you're still not going to get very fast, so you have to have a lot of both, okay? If you want to be a model, reach for it. Doing photo shoots is important. You have to take photos. You have to have photos. You have to have a portfolio. If somebody looks at you and they want to use you or they want to have you on set for anything, if you could present them with a portfolio of images that you already have, it's only going to help to seal the deal more for you. It's going to show them how dynamic you are as a model, and that only helps, okay guys? So get out there and shoot. If you like these tips, again, you could like, share, and subscribe. You could touch the bell button so that you know when we bring up a new video. You could add a comment. You could access literally anything about photography or anything about photographic art or video, and we will try our best to answer your questions like we did today. Like we're trying to make sure we build a community. All right, guys? So thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, my name is Steven, and I am the camera guy. Feel free to ask me anything, and peace. No gang signs. Secret confession, I still have up my Christmas tree.